My name is Hazelin, so I'm a preschool educator at Star Learners. Okay, I truly believe that through the power of stories, through the power of books, we can inspire young minds to reach out and learn about the wildlife around us. Okay, yeah, so that's my theme for today, inspiring heroes through the power of stories. So I'll start off to share with all of you how I came about all this. So I'm currently a docent at Wildlife Reserve Singapore, and two of my favorite events that I've done so far would be the tree planting at EcoLink Bridge. That's when I learn a lot from the other docents. And I do participate in the illegal wildlife trade, both at Istana, and that's where I reach out to others as well. I am also a volunteer at the Gallop Stable, so I have very passionate people there that care for the horses there, and that's how I learn about the horses, and the ponies and how to care for them. At the same time, I'm currently involved in this group called SG Beach Warrior. So they are currently doing a cleanup at Yishun Dam, just saying, So what they will do is they will go around different areas to pick up trash and clean up the area, especially so where there are wildlife there. Okay, I'm also a WWF member, so that's Tara and I. We attended a talk on haze and forest fire, so that's how I learned more about the haze in Singapore and the other countries as well. I'm also an ADEX volunteer. That's how I reach out and learn about other wildlife events that's going on around the world. And that's me with my empowering teachers from Star Learners. They are my greatest support thus far, and my family, okay? We go through literature-based and activity-based. So the one that I'll focus on will be the lead-based, using books. And our StarBeam framework is carefully developed to illuminate a child's path, and in turn, they will be a source of illumination to others as well. And they too will become heroes of heart and mind and continue to inspire the people around them. Sorry. Okay, so I started off taking PG, playgroup, 18 months onward. So that's a very young age, and usually we think that, wow, how do I teach these children? They are so young, how can I get them to learn about wildlife, or any other area of interest? So then it's through these books that somehow I got inspired with my co-teachers back then, teacher Esther. So I got inspired, and from this book, we actually use it to teach them about the wildlife in Pasir Ris Park, because my center is based in Pasir Ris, so it's very close, it's a close proximity to the wild there. So we just thought it would be nice for the children to have a walk around the park. Okay, so this is our playgroup class, playgroup Winfield. So we brought them out for an excursion trip to the horse stable. We were quite privileged because the horse stable is in Pasir Ris, so then it's accessible to us as well. So we brought them to the horse stable, and these are my children back then. Right now they are in N2s, so you will see them later on. So when they were there, they were really happy when they see the ponies and the horses there. Some of them showed different reactions. Some of them were, of course, afraid, because they are very big and all. But after proper demonstration from our Principal Chow Sin, so she showed the little ones, how do we actually interact with the ponies? Do we go near them? Do we stand a distance? How do we feed them properly? So this is Principal Chow Sin and the children. So Winnie was one of the child that was initially afraid to feed the ponies because it's so big, but with much encouragement, then she was willing to give it a try. So from here, I can share that you may have the fear at first, but with encouragement from the adults, the child can actually overcome that little fear and learn to appreciate the animals better. And we have Isaac. He's a brave little one, and he's all out to feed the ponies by himself, and he had a great time. Okay, so besides pony feeding or horse feeding, they also have rabbit feedings there. Yeah, so that's Yuri over there. So she's a brave little girl, so she goes on to feed the white little rabbit, yeah, and vegetables. So from there, we also teach the children, what do animals eat? What type of food do they eat? And what is the correct food to feed the animals in a specific area like the horse stable. And you can see Javier. You can see he's really, really happy here. Yeah, so from his expression, I can tell that he's really very happy to be here, to be with the animals as well. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. This is the book that I use to actually teach the children about the wildlife in Pasir Ris Park, because we have a lot of otters, a family of otters in Pasir Ris Park. Then sometimes it gets to us like, how do we teach the children what to do when they see otters outside? Do they chase after them or do they keep a distance? And what is happening in their environment? So this book is called Little Otter, Little Trouble by Emily Lim. And from here, what I do is usually I will just guide the children. What are the animals that you see here? Is it an otter? Is it a cat? Yeah, so I do get different responses. Yeah. And at the same time, I teach them, how do we respect the otters? If you love an animal, do we run after them? Do we chase after them? Or do we look at them from afar and observe them? Yeah. And from this book also, I taught them how to care for the environment. Yeah, so I'll show you here. And our Isaac over here, this is what he mentioned. He said, the otter is stuck. There are a lot of trash. We must throw the trash inside the dustbin and keep it clean so otters can walk. So I'm very impressed with the response that he gave me. So Isaac is currently in N2 now. Just now when they were at the horse stable, they were in PG. So, like, the way he responded to me, I was like, wow, that's a very good information that you have actually shared with me. Yeah. And Charlene, when she looked at the picture, she said, so many trash. The children picking up all the trash. And then from here, I'll start to facilitate their thinking. I'll ask them, okay, so if you see the trash, what do you do? And do we throw our trash in the dustbin? Do we throw our trash in the ocean? Or, what do we do with the trash? So then I'll get responses from them, yeah. So they will say, we must throw inside the dustbin. And I say, good. I said, and what happens if you don't throw the trash? The otters cannot walk, or, the otters will get stuck, yeah. Okay, so this is a picture, okay, of me cleaning the beach here. And this is Elisha. So I let Elisha see the book, okay, read the book and see the pictures that I've done cleaning up the beach. And I try to get responses from her, and I will ask her, what do you see here? And then she will tell me, I can see teacher Hazelin cleaning the beach. So dirty and so much trash. Yeah, so it's not just from the book experience, but I'm trying to bring like reality, like how I participate, and to show it to them that this is happening. Yeah. And this is something that I created for them. It's just pictures with just one word, 3 words, keep the straw. Okay, so then I'll get Elisha to tell me, what do you see here? It's just simple questions like, what do you see? And then she will tell me, the turtle will fall sick if they eat the plastic and paper cups. And then I'll tell them, so do you want the turtles to fall sick? Then she'll say, no. So what should we do? We should throw the trash at the correct places. Okay, so that was one of the books that I used. Another one that I just started on will be this book, Why Did the Pangolin Cross the Road? Okay, so it talks about what is a pangolin. For me, I just wanted them to learn what is the different animals. It's not, animals don't just be animals, but it can be pangolin, it can be otters. It's just a simple introduction to the children because they are just nursery 2 children. Yeah. Again, I emphasize on respecting spaces, keeping a safe distance from them, because children being children, when they see wild animals, they will tend to, wow, they want to go after it. So then again, the reinforcement is good for them. And then I talk about safety on the road. So this is how it was, the discussion on Sunda Pangolin. So usually I would just place the book on the board, and then I'll get the children to tell me, what can you see on this page? And then they will describe to me, you know, like, oh, this is the Sunda Pangolin, and then they will say, then I'll ask them, what is it about Sunda Pangolin that you have remembered from the story that I've told you? So then they will say, Sunda Pangolins have sharp claws, long scaly tail. Yeah, so it's not more of factual facts for the children, like very in-depth information, but it's just the basic, like what is a pangolin, you know, it's just like what is, yeah. So this is the book nook that I mentioned. So in every classroom in Star Learners, we will have our book nook area. We will have all the books, and then we have the mat and the seats for the children. And for mine, I included in a globe, yeah, and photographs of what I've done and for them to see. So in my book nook, these are some of the books that I included in. It's a very thin book, but it talks about what is a traveling animal, what is a snake, what is an animal of the Amazon, what is a turtle, and what is an endangered animal. Okay, so they will, hold on. So they will open the book, and then I'll leave them alone for them to browse through the book and read through with their friends. As they do that, I'll just come along and join in. So this is Charlene. So she mentioned to me that the egg hatched and the baby snake came out. Yeah, so it's just simple information like this with pictures that are clear for the children to see. And Charlene again, she said, we cannot disturb the snakes. Some snakes are poisonous. And I think this is a good start for children to let them know that, you know, snakes are poisonous, and you should know which snakes are poisonous. For her, it's poisonous, but for adults, we use venomous as well. Yeah, so I don't edit that because it's just children's conversation. Yeah, so it's a good start for the children to know, like, which are the poisonous ones, which are the venomous ones, which are not, and what can be, you know, what can we be close to and what can we not be. Yeah. And I like this book a lot, What is an Endangered Animal? Because I like the topic of haze and Borneo and orangutans. So that's how I get the children to learn about it as well. Yeah, so what are some of the endangered animals here? So we have orangutans and rhinoceros. Okay, here. So there's this part of the page that shows how animals become endangered, especially to the orangutans in Borneo or Malaysia. Then I asked Charlene to describe to me, what do you see on this page? And she said, the tree is on fire and the orangutan is climbing away. So then I asked her, so what happens to the orangutan if the tree that it's climbing on is on fire? Where will it go? What will happen to the orangutan? So through this question, it actually helps to widen their mindset and think back, what happened to it? Yeah. Then Charlene actually said the orangutan will fall off and die. Yeah, so I said, correct, you are right. That's the right answer. Yeah, so I think through pictures, little pictures like this, okay, it actually helps to create an awareness for the children to know what is going on, yeah, to what's going on in the world around them. And here, Charlene mentioned, we cannot cut down the rhino's horn. Very painful. Yeah, this part here. So I was actually very impressed with what Charlene shared with me the other time. I was like, wow, this girl can learn a lot, you know? Yeah, so it's through simple illustration and photographs, we can actually create a big awareness for the children. And then Kira is, she talks about the turtle. It's just simple questions like, what is a turtle? Yeah, and where do they come from? Yeah. And then what I will do, and with the children is I will use the globe and guide them. Okay, so you are here in Singapore and this turtle is somewhere far away swimming away. Yeah, and Justin as well here. Okay, so yeah, so this is the globe that I have in my book note corner. So then I'll get the children to look for the animals. Where can we find the turtles? Is it swimming around or is it in Singapore? Yeah. And Raymond, he loves humpback whales a lot, so he comes to the teachers and like, Raymond loves humpback whale, you know. So then I get him to spot out where the humpback whale is. Yeah. Okay, so another book that I really like a lot that I use with the children would be this Gus Grow a Plant. And this book is just a simple illustration of how a rhino plants a seed and it becomes a sunflower. Okay, and from there, I actually guide the children and tell them that seeds will grow into plants. And what do plants need to live? So they need water, they need sunlight. It's just simple books. Yeah, and that's how I try to inculcate the love for nature to the children. Oops. Yeah, so I strongly believe in this quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." So I apply this to all my children as well. So then we have a tree in our backyard, in our school. And what we'll do is, I'll just ask the children, would you like to water the tree? And of course there are some children that say no, but there are some that are interested, so like they will come, okay, let's water the trees. Then I'll reinforce the concept again. So what do trees need to grow? It's simple, like sunlight and water. Yeah, so this is Charlene, Isaac, and Audrey. Okay, this one here, this is a fallen sunbird nest in our school. So the mommy bird and daddy bird didn't want to use it again. So I pick it up and I show it to the children. I showed to Elisha and I let her have a texture of it. And then I told her that this is a sunbird nest. And after which, during lesson or during the corner time when they were playing with their toys, Elisha actually showed me this. She said, "Teacher Hazelin, I built a nest. I built a nest." Yeah. So I was, wow, you remembered how the bird nest, like the texture of it and how it looks like. Yeah. And then this is Elisha again. So this is a book on birds. And this part here is actually another bird's nest. So this is Elisha creating another nest. So so from her experience of looking at the fallen sunbird nest to now, it actually kind of like make her create her own nest. Yeah, it's something that is critical thinking for the children as well, thinking out of the box, creativity. Yeah, and some other books as well about bats. So Isaac said bat is sleeping upside down, and again on birds as well. So Isaac exploring the feathers that I brought for them. So when I place a book there, I try to provide something that's authentic. Yeah, so I place, this is not a real bird's feather, it was bought. So it's just for them to explore and feel the weight of it. Yeah, and they came to me and said, "This is how birds fly with the feathers." Yeah, I was like, "Great, can you flap your wings a bit faster?" Then they go like this. Yeah. And this is an artwork actually that I did, but I placed the photograph of it. I took a photo of it and placed it in my book Nook. It's like a clock that talks about the climate change, like what will happen if we don't start taking care of our environment. So we have our climate change here, and then we have haze and the orangutans, and then drought, fish migration. Then we have our turtle and the nettings, you know what's happening to our turtle, coral bleaching, and so far and so forth. So Ahmed, this is Ahmed. So I asked him, "What do you see here?" The first time when I introduced this to Ahmed, I did not explain what was it. But Ahmed told me, "I can see that the ice are melting and the seawater are rising. The polar bears have no place to live." And I asked him, "Wow, how do you know so much?" And he said, "My mommy taught me." And I'm like, wow, that's great. You know, like from parents, you educate your children, and then when the children shared with the friends in the class, it really makes a lot of difference. And Ahmad says as well, the fishes are dying, the seas is set. There are lesser fish in the sea now. Yeah. So when Ahmad said that, he also shared with his friends in his class. So it was really impressive for me, for an N2 boy to actually say that. It's an amazing thing for a teacher. Yeah. And last but not least, these are the photographs that I've taken during my beach cleanup. So these are the litters and the people collecting trash and the otters at Pasir Ris Park and myself and my group members. So then I get Isaac to use the photograph to tell a story, what's happening. Can you tell me, what do you see in the photograph? Then he say, there are a lot of litters. And I say, okay, go on, what's next? And he said, I can see the man picking up trash. I said, good. And then he said, and the otters can walk freely. And then I said, okay, that's very good, a good observation. And what do you see here? And he said, teacher Hazelin cleaning the beach. And I said, yay! Yeah, so it's just simple photographs. You can also tell a story to the children. You can even use pictures to make picture books. Yeah, it actually helps the children better, especially younger age. They love to see illustration, they love to see photographs. And from then on, they can interpret it. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I will end it off with my quote. Through the power of stories, books can be used as mirror that reflects issues on wildlife prevalent in our society. Books can serve as windows that gives young readers a glimpse of the wildlife as it helps them to develop a love and appreciation for the wild animals. I truly strongly believe in this, as I've actually experienced it with my children as well. So I encourage all the participants here in the room to go out there, and if you have little ones, little cousins, just get them a simple book, get them to talk about it. You can talk about the wildlife or any other matters as well, and encourage them to. Yeah. Thank you.